everyone. Hello. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm Miss Rebecca. I'm here with Miss Marie, and we are really excited to be here with Caroline and Katherine Brickley and with Danny online, the authors and illustrators of this fabulous book, The Friendly Bookshelf. So both Caroline and Katherine grew up in New Canaan, and we're really happy that they're back here today. And just like you guys. And we're going to hear a little bit about, they're going to share their story. They're going to tell us a little bit about what it was like to write a book. And then we're going to learn to draw one of the characters from the story. So we're going to remind everyone to have your best listening ears on. And if you have a question, to raise your hand way up high. And we will call on you. And there are also going to be some time for questions at the end and for maybe some photos and a book signing. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Caroline and Katherine.
There we go. Okay. So hi, everyone. Thank you again for coming out to see us today. You can't see it, but Catherine and I have really big smiles on our faces. We're super excited to see you all. Yeah, so we're twin sisters, and as Rebecca said, we are from New Canaan, and we wrote The Friendly Bookshelf. So we're the co-authors, and we have a really good friend here with us today that we'd like to introduce to you as well. So Danny, if you'd like to say hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with everyone. Hi.
So Danny is the illustrator of The Friendly Bookshelf, which is Caroline and my second picture book, and it's about a little library bookshelf named Bibli who carries a big question on his shelves. And that's right, Bibli has a very big question, but first we wanted to ask you all a question, which is, have you ever heard a story about a bookshelf before? Has anyone? Can you raise your hands if you have? Well, we're not surprised because this is actually the very first story about a bookshelf. And so when you look around at the world around you, you might notice that there are lots of stories about different people, different places, different things that also haven't been told yet. Yeah, maybe even you feel that you have a story that you carry inside that hasn't been told before. So today, we're going to be reading The Friendly Bookshelf and seeing how the very first story about a bookshelf came to be. So, and after the story, Danny is going to be joining us again, like Rebecca said, to show us how to draw Bibli. So we'll see you again soon, Danny. And now, let's begin our story. On the count of 3, can we read the title all together? 1, 2, 3. The Friendly Bookshelf. Okay, let's begin. Once upon a time, in a library like any other, there lived a little bookshelf named Bibli. When the library first opened, Bibli was its only bookshelf, able to hold all of its books on his own. But as the library grew, it wasn't long before the librarians had to bring in another bookshelf, and then another, and then another. Before he knew it, Bibli found himself hidden away in the very back corner of the children's section, alone and mostly forgotten. Poor Bibli. Oh no. Bibli rarely had visitors, with the exception of one person, Miss Grammar. Every afternoon, she would come pick a book off of his shelves for story time, Bibli's favorite part of the day. Bibli loved listening to the children go ooh and ah as she read stories about adventure, magic, friendship, and many other wonderful things a bookshelf could only dream of. But while listening to these tales, Bibli couldn't help but notice that never, not once, had he heard a story about a bookshelf like him. What would a story about a bookshelf be like? Bibli would wonder. Would Miss Grammar choose it for story time? Would it make children crowd around and go ooh and ah? Bibli decided there was only one way to find out. For the first time ever, he wiggled away from his little corner. Can we all wiggle like Bibli? Wiggle, wiggle. Oh, that's some good wiggling. Where are you going, Bibli? Other shelves asked. Why, I'm going to look for a book about a bookshelf. The others gasped. A book about a bookshelf, they cried in perfect unison. Oh, no, no, said the straightest, sturdiest, most spacious bookcase, or as the other shelves called her, the queen bee. Bookshelves are meant to hold stories, not have ones of their own. Discouraged, Bibli returned to his corner, still carrying the question, could there be a story somewhere about a bookshelf like me? The next day, Bibli tried to be the best bookshelf he could be. The other shelves looked on proudly as he stood just as still, straight, and silent as them. Can we all stand straight like a bookshelf? Wow, you all make really good bookshelves. But when a girl wandered in looking for a spot to sit, Bibli began to feel a bit fancy. Bibli watched as the girl glanced about for any place that could be hers. He noticed a tear form in her eye, and then another. I can't just stand still, Bibli thought. What would happen? Ignoring the disapproving glances at the surrounding shelves, Bibli scooted to the side as much as his little corner would allow and made a place for her to sit. Noticing the empty spot, the girl made her way over to Bibli. The little bookshelf couldn't help himself. He smiled. To his surprise, the girl smiled back. Bibli could hardly believe it. Someone was smiling at him. In that moment, all he could think to do was say, in his best library whisper, of course, hello. Can we all whisper hello to Bibli? Hello. The girl whispered back, my name is Cassie. What's yours? My name is Bibli. Bibli the bookshelf. The next day, when Cassie returned to the library, she immediately sat down beside Bibli, and the day after, and the day after that. Bibli had never been happier. And it just so happened that he began to notice others, like Cassie, who were in need of a little help. Once again, he found himself thinking, I can't just stand still. And off he went, lending the kind of helping hand that only a bookshelf can. And so if you can see here, these are the many ways that Bibli began to help others around the library. If you can see here, he made a cozy spot for the library dog Doodle to take a nap. What are some other ways we can see Bibli helping out his library? Can anyone point one out? What about this one? He's standing as tall as he can to help a little cat, right? Who's stuck on the very top shelf. And in this one, he's making a silly face to cheer up a crying baby. That one's one of our favorites. And then in the very last one, he's offering a book recommendation. One day, as Bibli and Cassie helped tidy up the library before closing time, a familiar question crossed the little bookshelf's mind. When Cassie noticed him staring off into space, she whispered, "What is it, Bibli?" Shyly, Bibli confessed, "I was just wondering, do you think there could be a story somewhere about a bookshelf like me?" For Cassie began, Bibli's shelves drooped in disappointment. "But," Cassie continued, "everyone has a story, Bibli." The following afternoon, Bibli was surprised when Cassie did not make her way to her usual spot. Instead, Bibli watched as Cassie walked over to Miss Grammar and whispered something in her ear. Grammar nodded, and the two headed towards story time together. Miss Grammar said, "Today, instead of reading to you a story myself, we have a very special storyteller who has written a story just for you." Miss Grammar gestured toward her chair and said, "Cassie, would you do the honors?" Bibli looked out from his corner in amazement as Cassie sat down in Miss Grammar's very own storytime chair. In Cassie's lap was a book he had never seen before. Everyone in the library watched, wide-eyed with curiosity, as Cassie opened up her book, took a big breath, and began to read. Can we all take a big breath with Cassie? She read, "Once there was a bookshelf, unlike any that was or ever will be." Pages of Cassie's story? Who is that? Is that a bookshelf? Did she write a story about a bookshelf? But it wasn't just any bookshelf. It was a bookshelf named Bibli. We say ooh and ah on the count of 3 for Bibli's story. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, ah. As Bibli listened to the story and watched children crowd around and go, "Ooh," the little bookshelf slowly began to make his way out of his corner. "Where are you?" "Why, I'm going to listen to a book about a bookshelf." As Bibli approached, Cassie scooted to the side to make room for him before reading the final words of the story aloud. "For he is a friend to all, and he is a friend to me." As Cassie closed the book, everybody and every bookshelf in the room burst into applause for the very first story about a bookshelf ever told. Can we burst into applause for Bibli's story? Yes! As Bibli stood beside his friend and looked out of the library, which now was quite unlike any other, he suddenly saw everything in a brand new light. It's true, Bibli thought, more certain than ever before. Everyone does have a story. From a bookshelf like me to a person like you. The end. Thank you all so much for helping us tell Bibli. Yeah, thank you for helping us tell it. And So we'd love to ask if anyone had a favorite part of the story they enjoyed. Does anyone have a part they particularly enjoyed? You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. How about, does anyone, what's a way in which Bibli is a good friend? What made Bibli a friendly bookshelf? Does anyone remember? Maybe we can take an idea.
Charlotte has an idea.
Yeah? Oh yeah, Charlotte. What do you think made Bibli a good friend?
Girl next to her.
Yeah. Yes, he made room. Bibli made room for the girl Cassie for him to sit, and that's a very good way of being a good friend.
Yeah, didn't Melanie have something? What's your idea? Yes, he helped the cat get down.
Yeah, that's a great example. He did help the cat get down. So next time you see a cat on any of the library shelves, you can help the cat too. Anybody else have an example of how Bibli was a good friend? No? Okay, well. So we're so glad that we could read aloud the Friendly Bookshelf for the very first time with all of you today. But just as we learned, everyone has a story. And just as words are very important to our stories, so are the illustrations. So now we're going to bring Danny back in, and she's going to show us all how to draw our own stories by first teaching us how to draw Bibli. So hi, Danny. Hi. Hi, Danny.
Hi again, everyone. How are you? Did you like the story?
So Danny, Rebecca's just handing out some papers to color on. So we'll
Okay.
let you know when the kids are all ready.
Okay, perfect. I'll set up my camera.
Okay, great. Perfect. Hi. Okay. Or should I not pen? So we don't have a pencil, so it's actually I think so. So is everyone good to go? Good. Okay. Ready to draw? So Danny, I think you can get started.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's see. I'm going to teach you how to draw Bibli. So first, we are going to draw the base, which is basically a nice big rectangle over here, like so. Like this. I think that's better. I'm going to go over it so that you can see a bit better. Okay, everyone ready for the next part? Okay. Okay, give me a sec. Can you hear me? Can you see? Okay.
Yes, we can see you and hear you.
Okay, perfect. So the next part. Wait, I'm sorry. Okay, for the next part, we're gonna draw Bibli's legs, which is one leg over here, one leg over here,
Recording in progress.
Sorry. Okay, let's see. Sorry, I'm having a bit of trouble with the audio. Okay. Now that you have Bibli's legs, we're gonna draw like half a cloud at the bottom, which goes like this. 1, 2, 3. After that, for the top, we're gonna draw a very thin rectangle over here, like this. And 2 little circles over here. Okay, it's already starting to look like Bibli. For the inside, first we're gonna draw Bibli's drawer at the bottom. Over here, a nice long thin rectangle. And of course, don't forget his belly button. Okay, next, we're gonna draw Bibli's shelves so that he can hold as many books as he wants. We're gonna draw 3 shelves. 1 over here. Like that. Another one on top of that one. Exactly the same. And one more. Okay, so we got a bookshelf now. Now we're gonna give him personality. Now we're gonna make him look like Bibli. Give him a nice face like this one. Okay, perfect. Once you have this ready for the head, we're gonna do also, like we did at the bottom, half a cloud. So it's gonna be 1 small one, 1 big one, and another small one like this. 1, 2, 3. Okay, almost there, almost there. Now we're gonna draw Bibli's big, kind smile. We need to add 2 big, happy eyes. Don't forget to leave the space for his rosy cheeks. Now we need to add a couple of details. So next to his cheeks on these 2 parts, he has 2 swirls like this. One over here and another one over here. And if you want to add the last detail, over here in each corner, he has a tiny kind of flower. I'm gonna make it a bit bigger over here so that you can see it better. It's an L And then again, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This one goes over here. Tiny. 1, 2, 3. The same thing on every corner. On the top left corner, it would be the same thing, but kind of like an backwards L. And then 1, 2, 3. This is just so you can see it a bit bigger. And the same thing at the bottom. If you want over here, it's easier if you, for me, it's easier if you turn the page to do the L, 1, 2, 3, and the backwards L, 1, 2, 3. However you think it's easier for you. And we are missing one more thing. What do you think it is? What are we missing?
Books?
Yeah, someone said it. Books.
Exactly. Now we need to fill him. You can fill him with all your favorite books. Any book you want. You can fill him with your story. You can add Bibli's book in here. Anything you like. Again, it's tiny rectangles. Change the shape, change the thickness of the book. You can put one that's a bit slanted. And that's it. Fill him with all your favorite stories. There you go. Now you are ready to show your friends how to draw Bibli. You can draw your own bookshelves too.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, good. Oh, yeah. Okay, great. Oh, thank you so much, Danny.